it's one of those days. Definitely one of those days. So fingers crossed we are somewhere working. Everything says it's green, it's good. Street 2.0 now with more Andy. Hopefully so. Right. First of all, everyone, yeah. So he's talking in my ear. So can everyone hear me? Obviously, hopefully everyone can see me because I don't want to go through the rigmarole of flicking across to introduce Andy. Yes, good. Ready, steady. Say hello, Andy.
Hello, Andy.
Winner.
Working? Winner,
Yep.
winner, chicken dinner?
And so all I needed to do was close OBS and boot it back up again. That was it. However, it's a right pain in the backside, obviously, when you're midstream, to realise that you need to close it all down and boot it back up again.
Stopping midstream is always hard.
Harder as you get older. So, Victory Royale. My son loves playing Fortnite. I really wish he wouldn't. It's just dire. Killing people like this and getting so upset that he gets shot or
Jesus.
hacked.
Listen to old man Jay over here.
I know.
These kids these days with their...
I'm not really a gamer. I've never really been a gamer at all. I've played the odd game here and there. At the moment, actually, I don't mind the driving simulator. That's what I got my son for birthday. And it is a proper force feedback, direct drive. And it's only 5.5 Newton meters of force feedback. But I tell you what, that gives a good old tug when you're going around the corner and you hit the curb and it's like that. And it's very, very good. And they go up to 21 Newton meters. Like, what?
That's like Chris.
That's like a lorry.
I mean, yeah, by Chris.
It could do. I mean, that's properly. Anyway, enough about that. You don't want to hear about that. Yes. So, welcome everyone. I will update the chat. There you go. So we can, because sometimes at the moment I've got two chats going on. I've got the old chat which I can still see, which was just Aidan Woods. What up? I don't know if Aidan's back, but what up, Aidan? But I think everyone is back anyway. And Mark, yes, you were first, and Niels was second. Right. AZPR, welcome. What car is that in your? I don't know. There you go. And Carl's back too. Hello, Carl.
Oh, Jesus, how do you see that?
I've got it massive. I have to have it massive because my eyes. Oh, my eyes are fine. It's just that as they get older, I just have to get further and further away from things.
Right. It's a Matrix with a body kit.
Is it?
It's an American car, I think.
Yeah. Isn't that your version of like a small car? Isn't everything in America massive? Like every single car is massive.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. AZPR said GR Corolla G16E, slightly bigger than GR Yaris. You guys get? Do we? I must admit, I'm really not up with my cars. They used to be many moons ago, but no more, unfortunately. Yeah, but there you go. Right, so let's what? Says Carl. Wish I could have a GR Yaris. Would trade it for that in a heartbeat. I'd have to Google what that even is. Is that bad? Right, so let's just have a bit of fun. Everyone was going to want to stick around for Daft Comment of the Week, or Div of the Week, as it's named now. I was going to change it there, but Daft Comment of the Week. At least you understand what it's going to be. Div of the Week just sounds like I'm just going to randomly take the mickey out of someone. So, that was interesting.
It just went pop.
Did you hear some? Did you notice something just go pop?
No.
No,
No,
mine
the
did.
face was like something went up.
Yes, it was. We had a
And me after
momentary
hitting the
blackout.
drivers.
We had a momentary power cut there for a second. The reason I know that is that everything pulsed here briefly, and my UPS clicked on and off. There you go. I get a lot of power cuts where I am. So, okay. I think I heard it slightly. Yes. If it does go, it will be interesting because one monitor is on the UPS. The PCs are on the UPS. The cameras are on the UPS. Projector is not on the UPS, nor is the lighting system. So if it does go properly, the computer and everything will still work. However, we'll be in darkness. So there you go.
And I think your internet will drop, so nobody will see that anyway.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. I do need to get a UPS for the internet. So, did it go, or is it my connection poor? I think it momentarily dropped. But there you go. Right, so let's talk Srixon drivers very quickly. Connection is fine. That's good. Interesting that you maintain stream though. That mine drops immediately. Interesting. I hate YouTube. I do. Right, Srixon drivers, everybody. They're all coming soon. So I've got the ZXI, the standard ZXI in my hand. I have the Max, which does need a little bit of a buff. Apologies. You know what I like about that. That's the Max. Yeah. And we have the... Bashed them together. And we have the LS over there. In the hazardous, or what is it called? For the people that care, it is in the, as your LS anyway, 2 weights at a time. That is 10 and 4, 10's in the front, it is in its lower spin setting. So this is in the hazardous, well it's black with a little bit of carbon fibre on it. 6.0, 60 gram, 3.2 torque, low spin. There you go, for the people that care. I'm not one of them, personally. But it feels all right. Feels all right. Not bad whatsoever. I've got the ZX5, few years old, but it feels great in my opinion. We didn't capture enough data on the ZX5 and ZX7 to actually get any form of heat maps or anything else like that. And I've still got the heads. I suppose I could do them. The problem I've got more so with Srixon is being absolutely frank. I suppose I could be anyone I want to call myself,
Dave.
But yeah, being Brian. These don't get a lot of views, and I put a lot of work into doing the reviews, the time it takes to do all the data sets, the filming and all the editing, etc. And whenever I do anything Srixon driver wise, I know full well I'm doing it for no reason whatsoever other than to populate the website with more data, which is a great reason in itself, because obviously all the website users www.askgolfnut.com. That's the homepage. It's always obviously good. That's the whole idea. We need to get more on there. Now, these are very interesting, these drivers. Can we go into too much? We can go into somewhat detail, can't we, Andy? I guess we can talk about it. I mean, all the people that are going to be on the live stream, I would assume will be watching the reviews anyway. So even if
I don't think the 500 people that watch this are not going to watch the video.
Yeah, so I got mine for $125 because of that. Haha, no one uses Srixon. They don't. And generally speaking, the issue with Srixon is no different to Cobra. I don't know why more people don't use Srixon drivers. I really don't understand why more people don't use Cobra drivers. But they don't. Srixon... Is it Srixon? Srixon? There seems to be this thing of how to pronounce it. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's the big boys are just over-marketed, aren't they? That's what it is. Well,
I wouldn't say over, because they do blooming well with market share. So from their point of view, it's actually pretty good. They would argue that that's just about right. although every single manufacturer will want more and more. Right, so let's do this. Right, so this is the efficiency heat map for the ZXi. That's right, isn't it, Andy? Yes, it is. Just had to double check myself there for a second. And everyone on the stream will understand what this means. We've got 30mm top, left and right, so that's on the left-hand side. You can probably see my mouse. Yeah, you can see my mouse, good. On the left-hand side, you've got the toe. The right-hand side, you've got the heel. You've got high and you've got low, and you've got that little green blob in the middle, that dark one. That is the middle. And you can see how it radiates ball speed drop-off as you move away from that point, millimeter by millimeter. Now, so the interesting, we get some interesting data, and the interesting data really is this. I'll tell you what, let's see if I can drop the zoom a little bit. There we go. You may not be able to see this, but I can. So when I'm doing all of my data, let's zoom in a little bit, 200%. There you go, so we can see. When we're getting all the data for doing this, this shows all the data points of where we have hit or where I have hit, and we need at least 3 data points in every single one of those locations to be able to get a proper standard deviation of hit. So we can't just go 2, because it's very difficult to get a standard deviation of 2. You can get a standard deviation of 3. So on that one there, you can see I had a pattern of hitting slightly higher on the face, especially high toe. High toe is my normal kind of miss anyway, but you can see I got an accurate distribution or enough distribution of shots in there for a proper advanced data set. You can, on the left hand side, you've got all of the different numbers which are summarized, but what the interesting thing on here is not just the information you see there, the toe, heel, high, low, that is how much drop off you get as a percentage per millimeter of a face, but the interesting bit is these bits here. These are the new data, advanced data, that we are going to start to introduce on all of the drivers going forward, and as best we can do the ones that are already on the website on the driver side of things. And Andy, do me a favor, if I can, what I'll do is I'll just do this so everyone can see your lovely face, but just for me, if you can, I'll start off at draw, and like that we'll move across. Just give us a quick, this is what this is what this does kind of thing.
Okay. So the first column is the general bias. So obviously most drivers are neutral, draw, or fade. We've estimated that, well, not estimated, but we calculated that this standard ZXi driver is draw bias. So out of the middle, you are going to get the next column, which is 2.2 minus, so it's left spin. So out of the middle, you'll get 2.2 degrees of tilt axis left. So that's your general draw bias of 2.2. Then we estimate where the center of gravity is relative to the middle. So the bias millimeters means that it's 11 millimeters heel from the center that's creating that center draw bias. So in order to have a draw bias driver, you have to have the CG heel side, and we've calculated that it's 11 millimeters heel side.
Cool. Right. So that was very quick on that, which I like. Should we talk about face speed or not? Or because I don't think, honestly, guys, the face speed. Yeah, go on. You talk about face speed.
Nothing new. No, I mean, face speed is nothing new. It's the same thing we do in the irons. The only thing you got to remember, in a 7 iron that weighs roughly 270 grams, the maximum possible or legal face speed is 1.56. Anything above 1.56, and you're in illegal COR territory. On a driver, because it only weighs 200 grams each, 70 grams less, your maximum face speed is actually not 1.56, it's like 1.54. So 1.52 is actually better than it may sound compared to an iron, because it's only 0.2 away from its maximum. So
with you, cool. Face spin rate, and this has been an interesting one for the people that want to try and get as much spin as they possibly can do. The guys that don't generate a lot of spin, This driver spins a lot.
Yeah, I mean 136 is where we see irons spinning at. Good irons spin at 136. Most drivers we see are between 95 and 105. So this
So
one's
what?
got a bit of a
Yeah, I must admit, when I was doing the
Anyway.
testing, I'll tell you what, I'll just quickly get my mug back on. Just, I'll count if not. When I first tested these heads, and we're just at the moment, we're picking on the, this is a standard one, but the Max is very similar, isn't it? All of the drivers, including the LS, even though the LS is a lower spinning version of these, it is still relatively high spinning. And this is one of the things that sort of got me straight away with these is just how much they spin. And it was like, wow, they spin. Now, spin is good because it's straight and it's very good when it comes to its bias and stuff, obviously when you hit it up the toe and heel. But we'll get on to that one now. So there we go, we're back over again. Now, distance potential, this is an interesting one because obviously distance potential ranges, and I'm assuming because of that face spin rate being as high, it's going to suffer potentially in how far it can go.
Yeah, you can't have both with a driver. You can't have high spin and high distance. It just doesn't happen. So yeah, that 136 rate, compared to a standard 105 is 30% higher. So we're seeing a distance drop off. So a driver, a distance driver, so something like a GT3 will be close to 2.6 on the distance potential.
And that would be up near there on the graphic.
Case, yeah, so 2.28 is quite on the short side. 0.4 over 0.25 is 1/6 of the distance.
Yeah. So launch factor, very similar dynamic as to the irons. We measure how much basically physical launch you get from the dynamic loft delivered, and this is from a center hit, because remember, obviously, when we're talking about a curve-faced driver, fairway or hybrid, it is curve-faced, so it's going to have different loft amounts from different parts of the face. So we measure this all from center strikes. The interesting ones come a bit now, mate. So can you very quickly explain all of these?
Yeah, so because a driver has gear effect, significantly more than an iron does. An iron has gear effect, but it's in the order of 10 times as much gear effect as an iron does. So anytime you don't hit level with the center of gravity, that hit causes the face to want to twist. And the way physics works is when the face twists, the ball twists in the opposite direction, and that's why it's called a gear. It's like two cogs meshing together. One goes one way, one goes the other. So when you have it off the toe, and you hit the ball and presses the face open, the ball goes the other way, so it spins left, and vice versa, vice versa. So any position on the face that you hit, there's an opposite gear effect for. So toe goes left, heel goes right, high goes down per se. It's not putting topspin on the ball, but it reduces the total amount of backspin, and low on the face increases the backspin.
Cool. And so when it comes to the spin high, spin low, toe spin axis, heel spin axis, the larger the numbers effectively means the further you move away from the center as such, it will then, if it's a higher number, gear more or tilt more.
So yeah, higher number means it gears more from that location. So on this example, if you hit it high center, you will reduce spin by 1.3% per millimeter.
There we go. And because it's pretty, I must say, the ZXi the ZXi drivers and the ZXi and the Max do exceptionally well at maintaining good control over spin profile regardless of where you hit them on the face. So even with all the shots that we were hitting to start with all the weird and wonderful data set that we did, I was hitting some weird and wonderful shots. The standard deviation of spin, including all the mishits, was in some cases less than 500 RPM, which on some drivers, especially the low spin drivers, you could get that within 3 half okay shots. let alone the entire data set made up of wowzers kind of hits. So Ping go on about spin consistency, that consistency of a spin. They call it spin consistency. Where they've altered the roll and bulge of the head, and does it work, does it not? Well, it's a bit better than the previous one, so technically it does. Srixon are the spin consistency kings at the moment. They are rocking it properly. Mark the Puma says the distance potential is an interesting metric to track. Yes, so when you have, so the interesting thing with the distance potential is everything is measured from me. So I am always the person who does all the testing. I deliver fairly neutrally. When we get robot working, I will effectively just get that robot to deliver very, very similar to what I do anyway. So we're not going to see any difference from that side of things. So all of the irons, all of the woods that we have measured so far are like for like. And if you are someone who, because from my point of view, having that much spin is detrimental to my distance. If you are someone who in your delivery delivers hardly any spin loft whatsoever, and you basically just hit knuckleballs out there all the time and they're falling out the sky, etc., a wood like this could be your saving grace. So this is why it's difficult to put it in one of these kind of graphs as in red and green, because much so like launch potential, launch factor, and things like that, it's very much down to what you need rather than what is good or bad. But there you go. That's what's coming anyway to the website when it comes to the driver database. We've got all the irons with all the advanced data on there, the forgiveness, all the launch factors, face spin rate, face speeds, and alike. But we've never had it for the drivers. Now, the reason why drivers, we haven't had it before, because you need a lot more data sets, or a lot more data within the data set. And my old knee is not, and well, body actually, isn't generally speaking not very happy at hitting data sets with driver. That's why we need to get that thing working. But apparently, I think, from what I understand, the motor is in the air, or is at least at the airport in Chinaland. There you go. Right, so we've done that. I just want to have a very quick chat about this, because I didn't actually know this. Bryson doesn't own his own YouTube channel. Did you know that, Andy?
I did not know that. Well, I did, because you told me 5 minutes before stream, but
yes.
sake of this conversation, I did not know that.
And who does own it? Do not tell, and don't say. Who owns Bryson's YouTube channel? Get in
Mrs.
the comments.
Bryson?
Say again?
Mrs. Bryson?
Mrs. Bryson, yeah. It's not. But get down in the chat and tell me your opinion of who owns his YouTube channel. Straight away. Is it a crush? I don't know. It's Liv. Liv owns the rights and owns everything. Oh, I've lost Andy. Hang on. Andy's coming back. This is what happens when I'm flicking round. There we go. Andy's back.
Could have had a nap.
He could have done. Very quick one. Mark says, Liv has media rights to all things Bryson. I don't know what contract he must have signed back in the day when he moved away from PJ Tour to Liv. But I think I looked earlier on. There was some information as well that I saw on that one. Hang on, I just pop this one up here for you to chew on if you wish. You can see here, like Bryson has got 2.09 million subscribers. So that's really very, very good from a number. But more importantly, it's not the number of subscribers, it's the number of views that you get. Subscribers, you can have like 2 million if you wanted to. You could have Rick's 3 point whatever. But if they're not actively viewing your content, it's irrelevant. It is just a number. Last 30 days, He had 21 million views. 21 million. That equates to about 140,000 pounds, which would be what in dollars, Andy? Help, 170?
What did you say? 140,000?
Yeah, about 170.
So 46, 186.
180, yeah, 186,000 pounds per month, people, in YouTube earnings, and he's not receiving any of it. Now, okay, don't feel sorry for him. He's doing fairly well with his contract, and he has earned himself a lot of money. And yes, he hasn't got to do his own editing or anything else like that. So he is just a face on camera, and he does nothing other than put his face on camera. So, yeah. However, oof. Wow. That's a lot of money to lose. Carl says, too bad, so sad. Well, looking at his house, a pretty good contract. Yes, it is. We got quite a bit of showing over his house as well, which was that's quite a good little thing, I suppose. But it started the ball rolling, no pun intended, with many people trying a very similar thing. Bucko5 says, I know you've had difficulty with Titleist in the past, but any insight into when you might expect to start getting in the new T-Series irons? Yes, I can do it. This is a proper announcement, right? So this is going to be, it's going to be a second for the channel. A second and first. No, not really. It's not really that exciting. The first of the channel was having to purchase the first lot of Titleist irons myself. And the second for the channel is me yet again having to purchase the new set of Titleist irons for myself. And as I will be the same as everyone else when it comes to handcuffed, when it comes to only having access to the equipment after the point of retail date, because I'm buying them retail, and then having to go through the rigmarole of waiting for them to be built, blah, blah, blah. The review will be sometime after they have actually physically launched to store, because I can't do anything about it. Titleist still will not entertain any form of communication whatsoever from me. Possibly my videos haven't helped, guessing, especially the T200 one. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Carl says skip them. Do you know, I would do, for the fact, obviously, that I'm going to have to spend more money to go get them in. But honestly, I think you cannot have a review channel that we have and you don't have Titleist in there. I don't think it's a balance. I don't think it's true, and I don't think it's fair and transparent to have the channel that we have critiquing every other manufacturer's equipment, good, bad, or indifferent, and not have Titleist in there. And especially for the website. The website has got 85 or so, coming up for 90 irons on the database for the iron side of things. It needs to have Titleist in there. And the only saving grace, I will say this now, the only saving grace for the Titleist thing is the fact that they run at least a 2-year life cycle. So I have some time to save up for the next ones. So Alex N, hello Alex, hope you're well, bud. I can't actually know he earned 0 off that, right? Did he say that himself? No, he didn't. I'm just going off of a couple of different people that are within the know who have reported exactly the same thing. Now, I'm only basically regurgitating what I have been told, and so if there was only one person saying it, okay, fair enough, but there's a couple of people that have said it, and I thought, okay, that's, yeah, that's, but then it is live, so I'm not actually surprised. Neil said he might get something for the YouTube activity through, although he doesn't own. He might, so from a point of view of the contract that he's got with Liv, he may well get certain royalties for the content. So you'll get 10%, 20%, whatever it'll be of it. I don't know. But the fact he doesn't own it, and that's not his, with 2.1 million subscribers, he could stop playing golf completely and just do YouTube and have a better standard of living than a lot of the PGA Tour players do. Yep. Mark says we have no idea what his internal YouTube contract is, though. The real difficult for him will be if he tries to leave Liv, or if it dissolves, what happens to his channel. Very, very good point. Mark says Titleist doesn't want you to break their clubs down. Srixon and Cobra has a lot to gain. I think at the moment, more than anything else, it's Cobra. And Andy, if you were to pick a brand at the moment who was just single-handedly kicking everybody's backside when it comes to innovation, who would you choose?
TaylorMade.
Bang on. If we're doing it from the point of leading the league of explosions or failures from a club, it might be TaylorMade. Or making illegal drivers, it might be TaylorMade. No, sorry, Rory, I didn't mean it.
Yeah, no, I mean obviously it's Cobra. I mean, and it's not like the Mizuno, JPX 925 series was a very good release this year, but it's not really anything outside of just standard progression. They went in the right direction, but it's nothing. Yeah, but you look at the Cobra's lineup, top to bottom, and they're doing a little different, something different in every class. Obviously the 3D print in the player's distance. Their game improvement irons are really game improvement irons. They're just not just chunky looking things that actually don't really do much. Their numbers are like, I mean, the Max, the DS Adapt Max is kind of like almost like physics breaking the job that it will do in helping people hit the ball further without any more effort. So it's not just the 3D print. The 3D print catches the headlines, but every one of their clubs in the line does something better than most of the other ones in the class.
I can't wait for 2026 for Cobra. Obviously, don't wish your life away, but from my point of view, I am looking forward to what Cobra are going to bring. And of course, we can say it because we said it last week, and it has been said on the interweb somewhere. Don't know, but Andy said it, so I'm just repeating what Andy said. It's Andy's fault. That there is potential for them making a CB version and an MB version. Now, with the 3DP, I don't know if they're going to keep it. If they're going to keep it in their range and then run that as their player's distance idea, and then run a CB and MB, or they're going to run a completely different new model for next year. I don't know. But exciting times. AZPR says, what do you do with the clubs then? Sell them after the reviews? No.
I think he's referring to Titleist in particular.
Oh, now, okay. If you are going to refer to Titleist, then yes, I am looking now effectively, because the great thing with the website, the great thing with how we collect the data and all the information that we gather and the manner and how we gather it, we effectively don't now need the golf clubs. We can do compares in the future. We don't need the old golf clubs to be able to do such. So I can now do, rather than the old way of hitting both irons again into the simulator and then comparing them for looks and feel or whatever it would be. Well, looks and feel are subjective. I can rerun the stuff that I've done in the past. You can hear what it sounds like in the past anyway, and then make that comparison as to which one sounds one way or the other way. It's up to you. But really, the great thing with the website is all the performance data is on there. So I can use the tools on the website to accurately compare physically from measured information how they will perform and how they do conform as a comparison to each other. So I don't need the old golf clubs. So I could quite easily sell them. The issue is, who wants a random, basically new 7-iron. Just one club.
Somebody who wants a tub of 7-irons and just hit them to see which ones they like the most.
Yeah,
like I
Eero.
have in my garage.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Eero.
I have in my garage.
Oh dear. So I don't know. I don't think, if any, I'm going to get much money, if any, for them on the basis of they are effectively useless. They're not full sets of golf clubs. If they were full sets of golf clubs, they'd cost a lot more, but they also have more shelf appeal to sell. So I'm not holding out too much about getting much money. It's not like I've got drivers. If I had drivers which I decided, look, I'm going to sell these now, they would bring in some money. They would do. Now I don't. I do not sell the equipment that I get given for free, because it is that I have this irritating moral aspect to me, and I don't think personally that it is right that I profit off of something that was given to me for free. It shouldn't be, from my point of view at least. I know other people will say, Jay, look, not being funny, just do it. It makes no difference. I know, it's just that moral side of that integrity bit, and yeah, right or wrong, I don't know. Andy might think I'm a complete moron for having my frame mind point of view.
Since when am I a jerk? Am I like all of a sudden like?
Yeah, go on say you're wrong. Go on, say you're wrong. You should sell the lot. Oh dear. Carl says, Azia, I'll open the bidding on the tee at 50 cents. It's not even worth that. I tell you what, if I was to strip the grip off, it'd probably be worth more. As in the grip. Doesn't help the entire iron.
Shaft's probably worth $50.
Yeah. Just pull everything out in component, get the head, pop it in the bin, and it just goes, right, got these two to sell. And the ferrule will probably be worth more than the head. Jay, I too am looking forward to 2026. Yes, I definitely am. AZPR said, absolutely, I like the channel even more. AZPR said, the putter my co-worker gave me will never be sold. I don't, generally speaking, I keep hold of equipment. I can't help it. And my studio is getting very, very full. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tour bags. I have a DLX from Ping, which is not far off a tour bag anyway. I have the Vice tour bag, but it's not a tour bag, it's a cart bag, but effectively it's quite big, but it's still a cart bag. And then I've got a couple of carry bags, and within reason, they are all full. Not much room. I had to have a bit of a move around, you see, because obviously I had my AGN one from Wilson, and then I got the AGN, I'm boring Andy, from Mizuno. So it is, I've had a little bit of a move around. There you go. Carl says, it's okay, Jay. You don't have to charge me for those old used 925 forged. Oh, I can say this, I'm pretty certain I can say this, and if not, I apologise anyway. Apparently, we are getting some different colour versions for the hot metal. I heard we are getting a black version, which will look really cool. Because black does have a tendency to make things look a bit small. Obviously, the hot metal being the largest one in the range does look the biggest of all of them. So it'd be really good to see the hot metal take on that black, sleeker, smaller look, to see if it's going to be a soft launch though, no media samples or anything else like that. All you will see them on is social media, like Instagram posts and stuff like that. But they should hopefully be available soon as an option for you to buy. Ooh, says Carl.
No talk of the S, right? Of the in black.
No, I haven't heard of anything in black. Now, this is the issue. Now, later on this week, Andy, I can't remember. Was it this week? It is later this week. Is it later this week? What is that? It's Monday. Of course, it's Monday today. The problem is when we work all weekend, people think the world of YouTube is glamorous. See, Andy's bowled over. But people think the world of YouTube is glamorous. I just have to wake him up. but there's a lot of work, weekends and stuff like that, and so days to me, unfortunately, sometimes just completely, yeah. But I believe they are coming. The S1s, told you he was bored. The S1s are Major Tom, the Major Tom 75.
Ground control.
The Major Tom 75. So they're here this week. The S1 will be here this week. 5, 7, and the 9. I'm getting them in KBS dollar taper 120 standard length, standard loft. I don't know why they wanted to give me the option to actually change the loft. Doesn't that completely mess up the review if you change the loft? There you go. Not really, because again, everything will be loft for loft adjusted anyway. And if we were to go get a 6-iron or an 8-iron, we can still do the tests and still get the accurate data that we need, etc. So it's not really a problem. But obviously, everyone tests a 7-iron, etc. And it's always good to test it.
Just for the record, you've done that. You've looked at the self-fit page and it matches up as close as possible with a different iron in the set.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I can't talk enough about how good the self-fit tool is. The self-fit tool is a website in itself. If you literally just had nothing else on the website and all you literally just had was self-fit tool, it would be worth the money, just hands down. The other bits, from a website point of view, from my point of view at least, is like putting lipstick on a pig. You need it, it's nice to have it on there and bits and pieces like that, but the main thing there is a self-fit tool, because a self-fit tool is blooming brilliant.
He doesn't mention that he really likes lipstick on a pig. He's very demanding about his pig lipstick.
No, I can't joke. Carl says, what would really be exciting is the announcement that OEMs are releasing irons in chrome. It would, wouldn't it? Instead of just that boring satin outer covering. I agree. I want the chrome back. Personally, I do. Unfortunately, it's not the in thing at the moment, and unfortunately, we will not see any form of chrome back, I think, for another X amount of years before it comes back in fashion.
It's not just a matter of fashion; it's a matter of production too. If it was an easy thing to do, they would do it. But it's a very very difficult process to add at the end of the.
Yeah, I mean, it's not cost
if you can
effective.
get away with just leaving it matte. Yeah.
Well, the classic thing was that they had the MP5. So the MP5 and the MP18, the MP18 wasn't pure shiny loveliness, was it? So MP5 was the last one where everything was purely gorgeous. And they just basically chromed the, I can't remember, did they nickel plate it after, or will it go straight onto the 1025? I couldn't remember what it would be. But the issue they had was more so the copper underlay. When they introduced copper underlay in MP20, you cannot put a chrome layer on copper. Doesn't adhere. So they had to, because of the copper onto the steel, and again, the 1025E, they had the same problem. They had got their 1025E mass, their club head, then they had to nickel plate it, then they had to copper plate it, then they had to nickel plate it again, and then they had to chrome plate it. So it's like this sandwich of multiple layers just to get it chrome. I get it. I know it's really expensive. But it's not like your clubs are like massively cheaper now that you've decided not to put it on there. Every manufacturer's golf clubs are still blooming expensive. So if they're going to be blooming expensive anyway, put some chrome on your blade, please. This is the objectivity side of things completely out the window. It's just full on my opinion, and subjectivity matters for me at the moment. Aesthetics is key, and I like my chrome. So does Carl. AZPR says, I want to use a self-fit tool. Need to go to the PGA SS Superstore. It's an American thing, yes. And test some clubs and get my angle attack and delivered loft. Yes. Or, as long as we have your launch angle, we can
He
kind of...
doesn't have any launch data. He's new. He's never been on a monitor, I don't think.
Oh, okay. So it's not absolutely imperative that we have... It's great if you have delivered loft, because that's perfect. But we can kind of get somewhere very close if we have your launch angle. But anyway. DB Ryder says the chrome process has a lot of hazardous chemicals, byproducts that have to deal with dollars. I wish by them not doing it though, they've removed a couple of those dollars for the price of what they are currently. But because they haven't gone down by the dollars, I'm wondering they should have kept the hazardous chemical byproducts and kept them blooming chrome. Carl says, getting some love hearts from someone. Carl says, whatever irons I end up buying, I'm going to have them chromed at my local bicycle customization shop. Television says, pee off. I don't like chrome. More nitride, please. Nitride? What's nitride?
I think it was an 80s TV show, wasn't it?
It's close, yeah. Right, Ryder. AZPR says, noted, I can get that. Oh, that's great. The Hoff. Brilliant. Kit was great. What was the, was it Carr? Was his alter ego nemesis?
The evil one.
Yeah. Was it Carr? Yeah.
Spelled anyway. K-A-R-R.
Yes. K-I-T-T. It did stand for something, didn't it?
Oh, KIT stood for Night Industries 2000.
Noted, I can get that at my next lesson then. The teaching bay has TrackMan data, I just need to export it to my phone next time, yeah. TrackMan's not great, but it will do. Sorry, Niels. It just measures things slightly differently. It's not a problem. Everything captures from a slightly different point with TrackMan. So when you're measuring it on a quad, you measure it on a TrackMan, you inevitably get slightly different results from different things because it measures at different times. And anyway, we won't go into any more than that. Right. So I just want to say,
TrackMan quad is just like the chrome non-chrome argument. It's just like you just get up on your soapbox.
No, chrome and quad. Only two things. Right, I want to basically say a well done, if I can, to this gentleman, Mr. Finch. Now, he's doing extremely well at regional qualifying for the Open, not the British Open, it's the for the American market. Just want to clarify that one as everyone turns off. But it's the Open, the British Open. Getting through regional qualifying. So he has got final qualifying to go. That is on the 1st of July, I think it is. So good luck to him on that one. He's done very, very well. And we are talking about he is a content creator. So he creates content, he goes for many different places and stuff. So he has a big team. And when I mean big team, apart from being on camera, within reason every other time like that, he's free to do not what he wants, but he's not the person sitting down doing all the editing, all the graphics and stuff like that. He has got a team to do it. So yeah, it's but congratulations anyway.
So that's the reason why you're not qualifying for the Open. Right?
No, the reason I'm not qualifying for the Open is because I'm crap. Relative to that, I was never one of these people that wanted to ever get into the plus figures on handicap. I never really wanted to go like +3, +4, +5, +6. I never really had that want. My my interest in golf has always been much more down the technical side of golf anyway. And so everyone loves playing good golf, of course they do. But mine was always down the custom fitting route and the coaching route, but more so custom fitting. And so playing was fun. I didn't really like the whole competition thing because people take it way too seriously. And for me, it's a game which is supposed to have fun. And clearly a lot of people weren't having fun. And you think, why do you do this then? AZPR says, what's your handicap, Jay? My knee at the moment, I hobble a little bit. I can't get any benefit from that, obviously. I need to have it like not, oh, right. Sorry, you mean the golf handy? I'm a pro, so I don't technically have one. So, yeah, anytime you are professional, whether it be, I've just noticed there, I've got, the agenda needs moving down a little bit. I'll do that while I'm chatting. I've just noticed that one. But the yeah, it's one of those things. I don't have a handicap, so haven't had one for quite some time. Handicap, Andy, what's yours?
Whatever the
Golf.
computer says.
Fair enough.
I haven't kept score in the course for a long time. I wouldn't know what it was on the course.
That's harsh. I just saw your comment. Jay has a deceptively effective swing. That's got to be the single most attacking comment I have seen to date. That's brilliant.
It's a backhanded comment, right?
It is, yeah. That's like, that's a knife in one and a high five on the other. Oh dear.
It should be absolute crap, surprisingly well.
Yeah, no, like you do really well with your swing. Your swing, wow. Amazingly consistent with that type of movement. I love that. Well done, television. Television, make your way onto Discord if you're not onto Discord already. I don't know if you are or not, because if you, anyone who's not on Discord already, make sure up there's a little link at the corner, and you'll probably put a link in the chat anyway. Go onto there. You've got a decent sense of humour. It's quite funny. So it's always nice to have someone with a sense of humour. We've got loads anyway. We've got Carl. Carl is our resident random comment that doesn't make any sense at that given time until I Google it, and then I get it about half hour later. It can be that abstract sometimes. So I think everyone in America will get it. It's just, obviously I'm a dumb English guy, so sometimes. Right, so I want to, I've done this, this may not work, right? This may not work.
He said, what on the internet? It's time for Div of the Week, where brains go bye-bye and the nonsense peaks. Div of the Week.
You deliberately didn't show me that beforehand.
It's time for Div of the Week, and thanks, Niels.
Choked on that one a little.
It was worth the wait. So, oh, I've got to find where I put Div of the Week now. I don't know if I can find
Yeah,
Div of the
no,
Week.
you don't have one. If you got the actual, you don't have to comment.
Oh
Just
no,
the
it's here somewhere. Right, yeah, I think I found it. Right. So, Paul Walker 2133 says, I'm not sure how useful it is for someone who strikes the ball extremely well and consistently. It doesn't really help me understand how forgiving these clubs are, which is the whole point. I said, I'm assuming from the above that you only watched the first half of the video, because in the second half of the video I explained just how much they help you or will not give a golfer from missed strikes from the toe, heel and low. It's amazing when you get people that obviously only watch some part of the video and then go off half-cocked. You think, if you only just watched more than half of it.
I mean, that's pretty much all we do, is tell you how forgiving it is or isn't.
Yep.
So,
I can understand that comment, right, from any other YouTube reviewer who takes their shiny golf clubs out onto the golf course and plays 3 holes with them and goes this, this, and this, and come up with completely subjective rubbish, non-measured information, and just come up with an opinion of what's better or not. I could get that comment from that type of review. I'm completely lost when it comes to this channel. Anything of that nature, you think, really? How much more do we have to do? But there you go. The Swing Fix series has been really helpful. Oh, people have been watching that. Yeah, I do. Whenever I do ones on there, I have. To be fair, I've got rid of some over the passage of time because, again, they're just cluttering up and not getting any views really nowadays because they're like 3, 4, 5 years old or whatever. But if people are liking them, I won't delete any. I'll just leave them in there. We didn't really get that much comments on the Div of the Week, mate. I was expecting a flurry of disapproving comments about where the heck did you find that from or something. Okay, I'll keep them. I'll keep them. Right, so let's get the next one up if we can. So, this 81 Fire Dancer. Don't ask. Yeah, on that one. This, you had a little bit of comeback on this one, Andy. So I'll probably read your reply unless you want to do it in your own words. But
no, you can do your best Andy impression.
I can't do a half American accent. So 81 Fire Dancer says, so you're getting around to reviewing Titleist irons a month before they release new irons. The T200 is changing to T250. Andy's basically said, thank you for stating the obvious. Now, Andy's a little bit more direct than me. But, yeah, thank you for stating the obvious. As mentioned in this video, and every other one in the Titleist series, he's going to town I'm in already, we've clearly stated that Titleist has never responded to any of our requests for media samples. That means AGN had to purchase every iron in the lineup just to get them into the database before the new models arrive. We'll now have to do the same again for the new lineup so everybody can compare new to old. No golf review platform could survive in its early stages if it had to pay out of its pocket for every club. It takes about 40,000 views just to break even on a single iron's cost before factoring in time, testing and production effort. Well, do you know what? That's a cracking response, Andy. It really was. I like that.
I got a question. Am I the div or is that other guy the div?
No, definitely the first one.
Okay.
Now, we'd said it I don't know how many times, and I don't know, people just don't listen. Again, go off half-cocked, and then just decide, it's just, yeah, unfortunately, you get them, can't help it, but there you go, one of those things. However, old 81 Fire Dancer, he wasn't finished. He had round 2. I didn't even bother replying. Because I thought, not being funny, if Andy's response has not basically said to him, oh, I won't bother then. I'm not going to in any way. Right, so that was his first one. Ready? Here's the next one. This was the GT3 driver video, of which was rather sensitive. And yes, you could argue during the video I did have a slight propensity to hit the toe. It was the only spot on the face that would potentially work for it to go where I wanted. But still, there we go. 81 Fire Dancer says, X amount of days later, bro's problem solving is questionable. Bros? What's this bros? Bros problem solve is questionable. Since you are putting on a toe striking exhibition, thank you very much, why not adjust the weight setting to the T1 position and demonstrate how that can benefit? My issue is, if I don't necessarily know, if I knew every single time that I'm going to hit out the toe, then I could move the weight. If I was a robot, I could move it out of the toe. The problem is, I don't, generally speaking, have let's say a toe exhibition every single day. It might be then middle or slightly high toe or middle again. And the problem is, you can't change the weight before you're going to hit it, because you don't know when you're going to hit it. And if I have to then change the weight after however many times of hitting it, how long is the video going to be? The whole idea to find out how it works is at the second half of the video where we actually measure it. The first half is just how it feels and how it looks and how I hit it into a simulator, which is relatively pointless anyway. But there you go. He had a little go at it. The other day, this guy got bent out of shape. Now, he must have been talking about Andy's backswing. Because if everyone's seen Andy's backswing, it's rather long and it's quite an interesting shape.
Wow, that's his handicap, talking too much. That's a reply.
That's the dig. The other day, this guy got bent out of shape at me for criticising reviewing the T-Series irons a month before the new release. Easy solution, save your money since you have to buy them yourself and wait till the new release and buy them and buy all of them so you can provide a timely review. No one is going to look down on you for skipping a generation. Yeesh. And then after that, he did want to add, not even trying to be mean here, just saying common sense things. Well, if he was to listen to Andy's reply, he would have then, anything after the chat about the comment about the driver, which was effectively one sentence, the other part he could have not bothered. But he obviously did read Andy's reply, because he started it with, the other day this guy got bent out of shape at me for criticising reviewing the T-Series irons a month. Well, but Andy explained the reasons why we're doing it. But then you can't help everybody, because unfortunately sometimes people are just divs. There we go. So have I missed out on some? No, shall we? No, I'm not going to do the out. I'm not going to do the same thing of the outro, because it would be quite funny.
He said, what on the internet? It's time for Div of the Week, where brains go bye-bye and the nonsense peaks. Div of the Week.
So, time for your questions. We will have a look at the chat. Have I missed out any?
I'm scared now.
Have I missed any, Andy? You're better at keeping track of these than I am.
I don't think so. Not that I've noticed.
AZPR said, working on the perfect swing plane drill with the alignment stick. May post a video of me doing the drill to make sure I've got it right. In Discord, on the swing videos. In there, absolutely. Carl says, I'm hoping for some of those dolts to respond to Jay and dolts.
Idiot.
Oh. There you go. Nothing like a good old-fashioned flame war. Alan Chapman's in the house. Hello, Alan. Hope you're well. The Titleist reviews were pretty critical and certainly not what I expected. You were also surprised at forgiveness levels, particularly in the 200. Well, I wasn't necessarily surprised because it is a player's distance iron, and generally speaking, this is a general. If you go back to the Forge Tech, the original Forge Tech, wasn't brilliant, was it? That's how big the green blob was. The AI smoke. That's technically not a game. That's not. This player's not a player's distance iron, but
Yeah, it's close enough.
yeah. But it's the nature of the beast. When you're trying to make something which is generally speaking quite small in its size, its chassis. I mean, it's not very big. Sole thickness is not a very big head whatsoever. There's a limit to what you can do because of its size aesthetically, because it's got to go into the player's side. The whole idea blends the player's distance. You try and make that middle quick, and you can do that. The problem is it's then really difficult to make the outside edges quicker, because they have to be quicker because they're effectively less efficient. You can't do that. Am I right in saying this, Andy? And again, you could say that I'm completely wrong. With the exception of the 3DP, we know it's a different beast anyway. Am I right in saying that generally, possibly except the P790, I don't know, but generally, any player's distance iron that's in the category with a solid back, hollow-bodied, against something like the JPX 925 forged, which is in the player's distance loft, but has got an open back. Pro 243, player's cavity, I know, but the ones with the open backs do slightly better than the ones with closed backs. I've just thought of that in my head.
Yeah, I can't say for certain. I don't know. Open. You've got your website open there in the background, right? Log in.
No, just a picture.
Oh, that's just a picture. I was going to say now, if you go to the radar chart and select the player's distance, the new class averages, and then pick clubs at random, you'll be able to see which ones are better than the class average.
I don't know. It was just something that popped into my head.
I can't say one way or the other. I don't know. I don't think that. I mean, honestly, if it's an open back, I don't know. Is that really a player's distance? But
I think if you're looking at a blade, so let's go 241. 245, basically identically looking, but fatter, perfect blend. However, if you were going down the route of, let's say you're a 243, okay, not a bad example, because it's 243. I was saying if you're going from a player's cavity, which you are still deemed as a player if you're in the player's cavity market, going into a player's distance for some extra help, let's say, because they're generally speaking a couple of degrees stronger within reason. You wouldn't go 243, 245, would you? One, it's not an upgrade anyway, but two, it's not like for like looks either. You would go 243 JPX 925 forged because they are similar in its open back design.
you mean from a blending point of view, or just from a consistency point of view?
From an aesthetic point of view, 241 to 245, they look basically identical. If you're going from blade, pure on blade, solid, lumpy forging, lovely.
I would never go 245 from anything.
No, but you know what I mean. But if you were going 243 and you wanted to go into a more helpful long iron, you wouldn't go 245. One, because it's not an upgrade anyway in that sense, but two, it doesn't look the same. The blend would go JPX 925 forged because it is within reason as good, slightly stronger lofted, and it's aesthetically similar-ish.
I mean, like you're in a different completely ballpark from me. I mean, you're thinking about aesthetics when you come to blending and long irons, and it just would never cross my mind.
The math guy doesn't do that. The two boxes had this compute. I don't know. Excel can't do this.
That's taking that's a non-variable. You pick the one that's going to be more forgiving at the same distance.
And he says, luckily, just like my backswing, I'm flexible and can dodge. Andy catching a stray. I didn't know. I didn't notice that. I missed that one. Alan Chapman says, I have the AI smoke and I was thinking of moving to the T200, but now I'm thinking not. Do you know what that would be like? That would literally be like you being in World War II in the trenches, right? Minding your own business. And then someone says, Brian! You turn round and you see his grenade and you catch it and you go, huh! And you throw it. And as you turn round, another one's coming at you. That's what it would be like. What you need, if you're going to go to from the AI smoke to anything, T200 would not be the one. I would be searching for, I'd go on to www.askgolfnut.com and find something that works so much better than that, because there are plenty on the list that work better than that.
I mean, nobody would pick the T200 over the 925 forged, or shouldn't.
I like the chrome. That's it. I get it. Div Dolt. I don't get it. Div equals...
Well, I say div, British word for dolt. Dolt, they're interchangeable. It's the Americanism versus the Britishism.
What, div and dolt? So dolt is the word for div?
Yeah, effectively.
There you go.
Truck or lorry.
Just AZPR says, any plans on hybrids and fairway woods? Yes. Also can be done, no problem whatsoever. It's just a case of waiting for the next releases and adding them in there to test as well. I suppose I've got a lot of other clubs to add to data sets, etc. if we're going to try and get the current ones that we've got on the list. And we've got about 20 or so on the list, haven't we, Andy, of drivers at least. And so it would be good to fill them out a little bit to see if we can get some like proper full-on advanced data for them. We've still got all of the efficiency maps and the distance factor maps, but at the moment we're missing all of, well, not all, but we're missing some of the advanced data tabs that we're now starting to get into for people to understand what kind of head that they need, etc. But it's definitely planned for it. AZPL said, my instructor suggests a 3 hybrid and 7 wood between my driver and not 4 iron. Not sure what to look for. Yeah, I'm loving 3 hybrid and 7 wood. 4 iron, I agree. No.
Interesting that you'd go with 3 hybrid and then a 7 wood, because 3 hybrid is longer. They go about the same distance.
It's subject to delivery, but yeah.
See, are we saying a 3 hybrid or a 7 wood, not a 3 hybrid and a 7 wood?
Oh, as in... No, my instructor suggests a 3 hybrid and 7 wood between my driver and 4 iron. Oh, so is he saying...
No.
So not my instructor is suggesting not both of them. My instructor has suggested both of them for me to choose between.
Yeah, I don't know. That's like I'm saying, I wouldn't have a 3 hybrid and a 7 wood in my bag, because they're basically the same club.
7 woods are amazing.
Look.
The only thing I would say, and I suppose it all depends on swing speed, etc., but a 7 wood does an incredibly good job at going that way, like this. I like the versatility that I have on 3 hybrid. I can still keep the 3 hybrid low if I want to. 7 wood with a CG being lower, I mean, it'd be a really interesting thing to test, hitting the 3 hybrid at the same loft as a 7 wood to see which one has got the better launch factor. You would say naturally that it would be 7 wood.
I mean, they're not the same loft, right? A 7, I don't think you could get a 7 wood down to 19, can you?
No, but you can do a little bit of...
I mean, if you've got an adjustable 3 hybrid, yeah, you could take that up and then drop the 7 wood down. But
so you look at 21 degrees, aren't you? Give or take. 20.5, yeah. 21 degrees, give or take like that. 19 for the other ones.
My 3/8 is 19, but it's not adjustable.
So if you're going to go 19, 21, you've only got to do a degree either way. It's doable. But still, by looking at it, the longer length of shaft that you're going to get on a 7-wood, as opposed to a 3 hybrid, you may want to leave a degree more loft on there anyway, if you're going to compare them for the same distance.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick a 3H if your 7 is 78. I would say a 3H, you're probably looking at an 85 7-iron to make a 3H playable.
Yeah, I mean, even my 3 hybrid.
Yeah,
I agree. I would have the 7-wood all day. Adrian says, hi Adrian, hope you're doing well, bud. Are you still a fan of Hack Motion? I'm thinking of buying one. I watched your video from last year. You were supportive. I am. I am a fan of the Hack Motion. The only thing I've got with Hack Motion, which is not a concern, if you're the type of individual who loves going down the rabbit hole with stuff and has time to either work on it with your pro, if you are working with a pro and your pro knows how the Hack Motion works, because yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It can really delve into the reasons why you're delivering this, delivering that, and how you should change, because the coaching side of Hack Motion now, just move my other Arduino. What does this? Oh, I haven't opened that one up. I've got one here. Where's the old one? Old one's here. Now, it's an amazing tool. It really is an amazing tool. The new one is better. Remember, it cannot do this very well though. Pronation, supination, it cannot do that. The release through, very, very good at understanding these kind of wrist conditions, yeah? Not very good at understanding that, because the resolution of the sensor, did we say it's 800 times a second, Andy? Did that ring a bell?
Yeah, the new one upgraded to 800 versus the original 400, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it could have been even less than that, to be fair, but pen fell off. Yeah, and the issue with it is the fact that it's got enough resolution to understand what you're doing in this angle for impact. If you're cupping, you're like releasing it early, or you're super flexing, or if you have like raise and handle issues with radial deviation. But because of the fact of closure rate, and closure rate is very much so down how your wrists roll over at impact, they go this way, pronation and supination. The issue you've got there is the fact that you can have a closure rate of, let's say, 2,500 quite easily. I mean, I've taught people with near 4,000 degrees of closure rate. And so if you're looking at something which is going to be 800 times a second, and you're closing at 4,000 degrees per second, unfortunately, your every capture of that 800 times a second, you've moved 5 degrees. Well, 5 degrees when it comes to face closure and also face open, face closed, and compromising the loft, whichever one it will be, that's a lot. And so, no, I would not use it whatsoever for rotation side of things, because it's not sensitive as yet. But for the other measures, it's amazingly good, and have got some really good putting stuff on there, really good short game on there of the coaching, because again, the sensor will do a manner of all different things. So apart from one thing, it's really very, very good. Right. DB Rider says the 243 looks extremely forgiving based on the heat map. It is. Just is. It's really is very, very consistent. AZPR says he said 3 hybrid or 7 wood. I think as my swing speed isn't fast enough, 78 miles an hour at 7 iron. Yeah, I would 7 wood. Makes sense, 7 wood as it is. And he says 7 wood, 5 hybrid, 6 iron. You aren't wrong. Tanner, Mr. Richard Tanner. Hope you are well. Interested in response to the 243 comments. I recently subscribed to the website data and ordered a set of 243 based on the iron data, heat maps and radar charts. Looking forward to testing them. So you've bought a
Yeah.
set of 243s before. That's brave. The whole idea of the website, and I'm not saying obviously you can't do that because anyone can do what they want. Whole idea of the website was always to give people that are going to go out there and test golf clubs, have custom fits for golf clubs and stuff like that, give them the idea, the short list of all the golf clubs that will work for them and the ones that they should test. Now, if you are going to fly blind completely, and you know the information that you know, and you are going to use the website, absolutely, that is going to give you 100 times better chance of being right than just randomly choosing anything. Absolutely. But I just like testing golf equipment, personally. But if you can't test because you live in the outer Hebrides of wherever it'll be, then yeah, I could understand that, absolutely. How big is the bag of golf clubs?
As the 243. As a 243 goes, right? You're hard pressed to find a negative. The worst case scenario is your swing speed may not be fast enough to get them out where you want them to, and the long irons are going to bunch up. But that's about it. That's the worst case scenario you're going to face.
Oh, but then that's no different. You use the self-fit tool to understand at what point you would like to see a certain number come into your golf bag, and of course if it's starting to get a little bit close because of swing speed, etc., then absolutely by that point you'd move, okay, if I don't swing fast enough, 7-iron or 6-iron would be my last one, and then I'm going to move into a hybrid and trying to move it on. So effectively you can still use them, it's just a case you'd have to transition earlier, and you loft gaps because...
there's not many downsides to getting a set of 243s.
No. I mean, if you were going to fly a blind and purchase blind, a set of 243s, a set of i230s, a set of JPX925 forged, I mean, they're all really very, obviously a set of Cobra 3DP if you're really rich. But yeah. So Adrian says, "Yep, I love rabbit holes."
I don't think I'd ever suggest a blind i230. I think swing speed is a critical factor to the i230.
Well, i230 is slow, and just how it launches and how it spins and stuff like that. i230, for its consistency point of view, its retention of ball speed from Winner Wonderful Parts is really very, very good. But it does have other characteristics of the head, again, which we show in the silver tier for the website. It does have certain characteristics that will not suit everybody. So that's the great, again, I mean, if you know what your details are, you know what your specifications of how you swing, etc. It's the great thing with the self-fit. You can compare. Rather than you having to go on YouTube, Jay, can you compare these two irons? I've been really looking at these two irons and really want to know how they'll work for me. Rather than you getting my opinion of how they work and then doing it at 90, 80 and 70 miles an hour and you swinging at 85 or 76 or whatever it be, and not really knowing because you haven't trying to make the adjustment, oh yeah, but Jay swings a little bit different to me, I swing a bit more like this or more like that. The great thing with the self-fit tool, you can stick your own swing speed in there and your own delivery dynamics, and it will tell exactly how the golf clubs will compare for your swing. That's why it's so blooming good. AZPR, or did I? No, I didn't finish Adrian. Yep, I love rabbit holes. Been having great fun with the Cobra Future Fit 33 hosel on my new Cobra driver. Adrian, that Future Fit 33, brilliant. I like it from a custom fitting point of view. I just love it. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, look, I haven't actually used ones, so I can't. I mean, I'm not going to comment in the blind, but from a standpoint of the thing with drivers is, a little bit here and there is the difference. It makes a lot of difference sometimes. 1 degree of loft, it can really put your ball an extra 20 yards, just because it puts it in that flight window. So, and being able to adjust loft without being forced to close or open the face is just a win-win.
What I think the Future Fit 33 does so well compared to many others. Many other brands have got the same amount of adjustability as the Future Fit 33. but then compromise in other areas through face twist or whatever it be. The Future Fit 33 has as good a range of movement as most other brands, if not all. However, the infinite amount of adjustments everywhere, if you see that chart that it's got, it's the most complex chart ever. I think I got rid of it. I think I did get rid of it.
And they designed it in such a way that it kind of makes sense, you know, which number goes where. You know, they were smart about how they arranged the values too. The Titleist one kind of doesn't make sense, right? You know, it's kind of like it's the same concept in smaller values, but it's. I look at the Titleist one, I'm like, it doesn't. The naming convention doesn't seem to make sense, but.
Well, it's just a bit of a mess.
Specifically.
The Titleist ones having the A1, A2, A2, like that, and it doesn't necessarily seem to be the perfect flow of numbers. The great thing with Future Fit 33 is you just take the end off of the shaft, the head off, and you look at the shaft, and it is just littered with numbers, and it's like, whoa. You got to take this little knot on there. That plus that equals that. That one minus that one. Minus one plus the minus one. And it's great. If you're a tinkerer, you could spend hours on that. More launch monitor, whack, whack, whack. More, need to tweak it a bit more. It's amazing. For the fitter out there, you can really tweak their head. Now, of course, there's only so much you can do. But they do make them different lofted heads as well. So
I'd be scared to get one because I'd need to find a space I could swing driver at home.
You would. It's brilliant. It's really very, very good. Very, very good, the Future Fit 33. One of the best, if not the best, hosels on the market to date. What have we got? ATP, I'll say my iron set had a 4 and 5 iron, but I can't hit those consistently yet. The 7 will probably end up being my go-to. Ball position, there's a load of reasons why people struggle with the long irons. Low point control is your main thing, because if you push the ball position too far forward, trying to encourage launch and stuff like that, I get it, but if you hit the ground first or even touch the ground first, there's going to be a multitude of problems because you're just going to be hitting crappy shots. Or if you miss the ground, you'll be coming up and thinning it anyway. You can hit the occasional nice one, but then they commonly fade as well, depending on your swing dynamics. Long irons are difficult to hit if you don't deliver the right amount of shaft lean, etc., or your ball position is just not good. Richard says, fair response. I've been fitted and played JPX 919s, 923s and MP223s for years, so I'm very comfortable with purchase specs. You love your equipment. Woof. Alan also says, Dynapower from Wilson, the carbon one, or the Titleist GT2? Carbon. And he's checking, I think. I'm going carbon. My gut feeling straight away, carbon. That's not just from a numbers point of view, it's also from a feeling point of view. The carbon driver, the Wilson Dynapower Carbon, feels lovely. It's just gorgeous to hit. Just got the perfect pitch of sound. Callaway are really very, very good at making drivers which feel amazingly good. And,
they literally have the exact same forgiveness score.
Do they really?
Almost identical spin rates. The carbon launches 78 versus 74. Almost identical draw bias. Like, it's splitting hairs, but it would come down to looks and feel.
Oh, carbon then. I like the carbon. The price will be so much better. The fitting will be an issue, possibly. Twofold. One, because it's very difficult to get properly fit with Wilson, because there's not that many accounts that have got full fitting carts with Wilson. Their shaft choice is there, but it's not as broad as we'll say Titleist. However, Titleist have more areas and more fitting centers that you can get fitted into the GT2. However, a lot of their shafts are upchargeable, and the head itself is very expensive to start with. So it is a little bit of a, like that, Rob and Peter pay Titleist. So I'd go Wilson. on balance.
They're very close. That's a very, very close. Yeah, very, very close.
Yeah, I would always go Wilson anyway on if they've got the same spin rate. They're both identical when it comes to heat maps within reason, but it's got a higher launch factor. I would go carbon. What was the face spin rate on that? 110s.
104, 113, 104, 103, 104.
Yeah, they are going toe to toe, aren't they? Yeah, I go the carbon. Every single thing
the
to me says
GT's
carbon.
just a little bit better on the toe, and the carbon's a little better on the low. But other than that, they're identical.
What would you do, Andy? Just before we finish, what would you do if you had to play
I think I'd go
one of those
carbon
two?
because I'm not a toe striker on the driver. So yeah, I think I'd probably go carbon, and it's a little less draw biased. Just a hair fraction less draw bias, which would probably suit me a little better.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So it's 2-0 to Wilson. Wilson makes some really very, very good equipment. Cobra makes some really very, very good equipment. And if it was between all the brands and it was my go-to brand for cut the marketing out, let's talk about performance, forgiveness, feel as well. We'll go feel in there as well because looks is completely subjective. Feel, at least there is some form of it sounds this way or it sounds that way. There's no such thing as a look scale. But if you put price and stuff in there as well as a balance, it has to be Cobra first and then potentially Wilson after.
Yeah, I mean, if you're if you're valuing, performance for money, then it's Wilson. Right? Because if you're a stock shaft user and you can get away with getting a Modus 105 or something like that, or any of the stock shafts, and they're going to play good for you, the Wilsons are hard to beat for the money.
Yeah, what do you reckon if you had to put a bag in of one brand and it had to be either Cobra or Wilson, the whole entire bag, 14 clubs, or 13 clubs, let's not count the putter. How would you score it if we're not just taking like little bits from each one? Would you go Wilson or would you go Cobra for your entire bag setup from a game improvement point of view?
From a game improvement point of view?
Mm-hmm. Someone who needs the help in strike, someone needs the help in launch. The whole bag.
If they've got speed but need strike, I would say Wilson.
No,
if
they need the help
speed,
in launch.
Then it's Cobra.
Yeah, that's what I say. They need the help in launch because of that max, isn't it? It's that DS Adapt Max that is so blooming good at getting that going that way. And if you haven't got this, it's an interesting thing. I mean, that's it's a testament to how good Wilson is. And to be fair, it's even a testament to how good also Cobra is, because you've got Wilson, which is substantially cheaper than Cobra, but we are weighting the budget side of it. We have to, but even that, you're kind of thinking, well, yeah, but the DS Adapt Max is so good, and two very good brands. If I didn't play Mizuno, what would I play? If it was before the 3DPs, I still wouldn't play the 3DPs. No, I'm not going to play the 3DPs because of the gapping's not right. What's going to happen next year? I don't know. We have the S1s coming out really soon, and I might look at that and go, nah, I'm keeping these. The 241s are out of the bag and the S1s are in. I might be thinking that. I don't know yet. Right. Adrian says TaylorMade launched their new zero torque putters. Are zero torque the latest fad, or are they a way forward? Oh, now
This is
the
where he
interest.
asked me first, so I could be controversial, and then he'll just
No, I
bounce
mean,
off it.
I can either answer it first or you can answer. Well, I'm absolutely happy to allow you the space on the floor. Go on, you give your things first.
There is a putter that will suit you. And there is a putter that will give you a consistent stroke. It has zero to do with zero torque or any of that jazz. It's not the newest lady. You might fit into a 30-year-old style single blade, like old, what's that old single piece blade putter. That might be your putter. It's got nothing to do with technology. It's got nothing to do with spring faces or zero torque. It's all about how that putter feels in your hands and how you take it back.
I am. So, when it comes to my personal view on zero torque putters, and I've used a couple of different ones, and have I noticed any actual physical performance differences between my own and a zero torque? No. Now, okay, I'm striking the ball with a putter fairly well, and so there may be some time in the future where it might be worth us measuring, is there any drop-off differences on putters when you don't hit the middle, and from where you don't hit the middle on certain types of putters, possibly. I don't know.
Yes, that's totally not what a putter is. The concept of making a putter forgiving off a bad stroke it's just not the right thing to think about. You need to find the putter that gives you the right stroke, not a putter that deals with mishitting it when you don't have the right stroke. Putting isn't like forgiveness in an iron where you're swinging fast and you're swinging in the most consistent environment. You're on a green, and it's how you take it back and how you bring it forward within a precision amount. Like if you're hitting the toe of your putter, and that's why you need a zero torque putter to deal with it going on the line, the same line, even if you're not. It's not.
The only issue I've got, the problem with a lot of golfers never get properly custom fit. They play with the equipment that they play with, and they're always searching on the internet for what's the most forgiving this, what's the most forgiving that, and then they end up buying certain things, not getting fitted for, not knowing if that is actually going to work for them or not. And then they do the similar thing with putters. That if you measure an amateur golfer, on the physical stroke side of things, the actual physical human's stroke side of things, there is two main things which always pop out. We'll talk about the can't aim for that's a different thing. But for the physical stroke, two things are always the things that go wrong, is the strike and the face angle. Their path hardly changes, their attack angle hardly changes. It's strike point on the putter and face angle that always change. And that is exactly, within a small degree at least, exactly what you see in long game. It's the difference between their good shots and bad shots and all their variable shots they hit is face angle and is strike location. And so it's exactly the same, it's no different. The big difference that you have with putting, because of the focus on the finite target, it's not like you've got a 30-yard, 40-yard fairway, you've got this tiny hole, and the expectations of the human, when you're that close to it, is that you must get it in. It has to go in. If you don't get it in, you're crap at the game and all that. Most golfers struggle to read greens. Most golfers struggle to even understand where to put the line. And most golfers struggle to know how hard to swing the putter. If you then add in the fact that they don't strike it in the middle all the time, so they don't transfer the right amount of energy that they feel, so they can't actually get better at understanding the speed because they're never putting the intended speed in to start with because they're striking it wrong, and you deliver the wrong face angle, A zero torque putter is going to have no difference on that whatsoever, like none. There are so many things that you have got to get right. And of course, if you get the right putter that suits you, going through all the tests of all the different head styles, head shapes, head weights, alignment lines, shaft lengths, how the shaft goes in, whether they're center mounted or they have the old classic, what they're called, like the square hoselled, I can't remember what they're called now. But there are so many different permutations and options that you can have from a putter point of view. There is a putter that will suit you and will make it massively easier for you to work on speed, work on line, because you get the right putter that suits you, and effectively they become, that side of things becomes much, much more controllable, so you can then work on those other two. I think I've kind of agreed with you there, Andy, but in a kind of backwards way.
Yeah. I guess my point is, if you're relying on the forgiveness of the putter to make you a better putter, you've got the wrong putter. A zero torque putter isn't going to make a bad putter better.
Good.
Other than, because of the way we know that like the face angle is going to determine starting direction, right? So if you're not starting on your line, then you've got to figure out why you're not starting on the line, right? Not ignore the fact that whether you could read the green to know what line to hit it on. That's beside the point. That's a completely different skill set. But if you're not starting the ball on the line that you want, and then if you're sliding across the face, then something really is going wrong in the back. Right? If you're able to move the club face back and forth within the swing of the club, within the swing of the putter, that's a lot going on, because you're only swinging it very slowly. To jerk it off its plane from that point of view, it's because you're not feeling the putter correctly. You need and it's not that zero torques might not work for some people. It's not that zero torque might not work for people. It's just that the amount of torque that you're applying on a putter stroke when you mishit it, it's like you have to hit it like inches off the middle for it to really matter.
Yes.
And if that's the case, you've got all bigger problems than zero torque putter. You need to be fit for a putter. Yeah, if you're really bad at putting, then a zero torque putter might marginalize it going offline, but the point is you're not fitted for the right putter to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to do everything like for like, and you have the putter that you can't align properly, you don't know how to aim it properly, and you don't know the right speed, and you hit a bunch of shots and they go X amount of distance away from your intended target, whether it be through length or offline, and then you swap for a zero torque and you display every single thing that you do with your current one, but you do things slightly better, shall we say, with the zero torque doing all of its glory, which is not that much anyway. You are not going to now see every single one of your shots be that far away from the hole. They're going to be basically identical to the other ones that you had before, just fractionally less or more, depending on which way you were going. So they can be equally better or equally worse, dependent. So on average, they won't be any better than your normal ones. So it's very much so, putting is technique first of all. You need to know how to be able to swing the putter in a nice normal stroke and not jerk it all around, etc. like that. But first and foremost, you need to, one, know the line. You need to know the speed that you need to hit it, and you need to be able to start it on the line of your intended direction. Those are the three main things. You obviously need to strike it half okay as well, because we're talking the difference between a well-struck one or a non-struck one from a certain distance anyway. It's great if it goes in, but the whole idea is you're supposed to, even if you misstrike it and it doesn't go in, but it misses by 6, 8, 12 inches, that's going in the next time. The problem that you're going to have with not understanding line, not being able to apply the face in any way, shape or form to start it on that line, and not understand any form of speed whatsoever, you're not going to worry about the 6 or 12 inch shots after. You're going to worry about the 6 to 12 foot shots that you're going to have after that. And that absolutely is not guaranteed to go down the next one. So it's the biggest wins you're going to have is not with zero torque putters. It's getting the right putter that allows you to do all of the three things that you need to get the ball as close as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's different with an iron and a driver is why forgiveness is such a critical, because of the amount of forces and energies that we're talking about, that those misses become exponentially more problematic. A putter is, you just put such low energy relatively that the forces that are being applied by mishits and stuff like that are nowhere near as critical as the fact that your face wasn't anywhere near the line to begin with.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. I mean, well, you know, at your speed, because you are faster than me, even at my speed, with a driver, hitting it 300 yards, if your face is a degree and a half off at impact, that ball is not in the fairway, right? It's gone. If your face is a degree and a half off with a putter, you are not going to be gone. You're not going to hit your target from the point of view of the hole, but if you've got the right speed correct, etc., you are getting it in the next one. Yeah, we are talking like a 10-foot, 15-foot, 20-foot putt. If your face is open by a degree and you're 18 inches away, that's going in. But you do the same thing with a driver, hit 300, and that's not off the planet, but you can put yourself in serious trouble being even the tiniest amount with the driver, because the forces involved are so massive. And you add in the difference with strike, with roll and bulge, and all the different characteristics that a driver has, hence why we're doing the advanced data with the drivers to understand how drivers actually work. The misses are magnified massively. What we got?
A putter is almost like, you should almost look at a putter as it's swinging itself, and you're just putting the energy in, right? And if your hand movement is in opposition to how that putter wants to swing on itself, right? So if a putter will have a balance, right, and that's the balance it will go. If you put it on a mechanical pivot and just let it swing, that path that it makes is based on the pendulum motion of how that head is balanced within the shaft. And if your hand movement doesn't match that balance of its pendulum, then it's gonna do this. It's not just gonna swing back and forth. It's gonna swing like in a circular motion kind of thing, and that's what causes your problem. So the putter that works for you is the ones that its pendulum motion matches your hand movement, and that's something that you can't predict. You have to just try different putters, and just buying a zero torque putter off the shelf is not going to change that.
There you go. Andy's having the final word on that one. As with the rest of the bag, you are definitely consistent, even if the putter is fitting well on the physics. Why should you not go for the most forgiving in the field of good fits? From a fitting point of view, if you found 10 different putters that work exactly the same for you, but one transfers more ball speed in from mishits than others, then absolutely you would go for that one, because why not? Arguably, if you are going to be hitting a nominal miss off the middle, we're not talking 3 inches off the toe, or again, some of you have missed the putter completely. But if you are talking nominal misses, the worst situation you're going to have is a little bit of drop off of efficiency of ball speed, and the ball may not get to the hole on a straight putt, or it may curve more on a curved putt. But the difference is not going to be, how many times, even if you hit it out the middle, would it actually go in the hole anyway? That all depends on how far you're away from the hole and how good a putter you are. Most of the time, people don't get it in the hole from the first go. So they're already working on the basis of not hitting target. And so the difference is going to be very minor. But on those situations, then yeah, you'd go for the most forgiving one, either way.
This might get a little bit dry with the math, but so on an iron, right, 7 iron, and if you're hitting 20 mil off the toe of the iron, the the MOI is going to cause it to change angle at most 3 degrees. And, you know, and that's with a full swing 90 mile an hour 7-iron. Now, you're swinging a putter 1/10 or maybe even 100th of the speed of a 7-iron. So if it can only move the face 3 degrees on a 7-iron, it's going to be only moving it like 0 point something degrees of a putter. So, you know, how much is that zero torque really compensating for? 0 point something of a degree?
Even if it was 1 degree, really? I mean, I can't remember what the distance is. I don't know if it's 5 feet. If you put a really bad stroke on it and you miss it by 1 degree or something from 5 feet, it will miss the hole or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the number was. But I mean, we're talking big misses in the putting front. The biggest miss on the putting front is the individual's own face control and not being able to know where the brake goes and not being able to start the ball on the intended line. And that has got nothing to do with zero torque putters. That's got everything to do with the human.
Yeah. I mean, Niels is asking about a 10% distance loss, but putters don't have anywhere near any drop off from. We're not, you know, zero torque putters don't really add speed, right? It's not a speed game.
No.
It's a face angle change.
Yes, yeah. It's the consistency of face angle. But that only works on the basis of the individual, the human is still operating that face. You don't have any external force flowing the face as such, but I would argue this, and this is probably the best and last thing that we really need to say on the zero torque thing. If zero torque was actually best, quantifiably measured as the best thing out there for everyone, the best or every good putter in the world, every single person on the PGA Tour, everyone will be playing zero torque putters or a manner of such zero torque putter, because for those guys, every single putt makes a difference. And if they could get 1 or 2 back because they're using a zero torque putter, they would have it. And the fact that there is not an absolute flurry of people moving over to zero torque putters, and every single person is now playing a zero torque putter, because that's not happened. That's all you really need to know about the zero torque putter.
Yeah, I've never seen any study anywhere on actually speed loss across the putter face. I can't imagine that there's no yet. But we're not talking about a flexible face like we are with irons and stuff like that, where the face is.
No, I used to do some. So back in the day when quad was first released, 2017-ish, I did some work with Foresight in working on their putter fitting side of their launch monitor.
Right. Yeah.
And because obviously quad will do putter launch monitor as well, and with the strike points and stuff like that. And I'm going back obviously now 8 years in my head, but there was a measurable difference in efficiency from mishits on putts, with angle attacks and face angles, loft no different, just through different styles of head. And also, I mean, can you remember the old ping zing? Is it the ping zing?
It's an iron, isn't it?
The one with was it crazy? Thank you. Sorry, the crazy. You know, the one with the really massive head has got like a big lip at the back of it. The crazy one, the ping crazy putter. We are talking back in the day now. That done exceptionally well off of mishits. Yet the standard normal bladed putter, you know, like the one you get off of, and I don't know if you have this in America, I'm not quite sure, but in the crazy golf, like like mini golf, you have those like ones that turn up at the sides and stuff.
Yeah.
they did horrific, and there was a measurable difference in efficiency drop off when you move away from the middle. I can't remember off exactly what. Obviously, we are going extremes. We're talking something which is massively high MOI to something which is ridiculous. Nowadays, there'd be far less difference between one side and the other side, but it might be worth in the future. Adam says, opinion on trying out graphite iron shafts, 5 handicap playing ZX7 Mark II Modus 120X at the moment, considering Axiom 105X. Driver swing speed 110. If they fit, I would test them, absolutely. The problem with shafts, and I think Andy will agree on this one, is that you can get all the bend profile information out in front of you, all the I-curve stuff, go through how one person will deliver, and it should or should not, if you measure it via the swing DNA, should you use it, should you not? It's not until you put it in the hands of the golfer where you see how the human being reacts. And sometimes you get somewhat close, sometimes you get an exact what you'd expect from the golfer for whatever shaft you're going to give them. Sometimes you see the exact opposite of what you expect to see when you put that shaft in someone's hands. You don't know when it's going on what you're going to get until you get it. So I would, if you can, test it. Because no one can tell you how it will work. It could work brilliantly, it could work horrifically, or be exactly the same, no different.
Looks like the Axiom 105 is very linear, except for the tip. It goes very stiff.
Like a DG.
Even more stiff than that.
Nice. Lower launching then.
Yeah, low launching. Not really designed for, how you load it on the transition, but yeah, just trying to keep that deflection down to a bare minimum.
Again, that's not saying when I say low launching, I've seen people use low launching shafts that launch it higher than, it's human.
Yeah.
I also try out some Blueprint S's if I get the Axiom, thoughts on those versus ZX7 Mark IIs. Just launch factor, the Blueprint S, launch it as the iron about knee high to a grasshopper. So if you suffer from ballooning flights, not that many people actually do, but if you want to keep the golf ball down a little bit, the Blueprint S is about as far as you can go down that rabbit hole of finding something which will launch it lower. Give or take.
Yeah.
Neil says putters should
the man's switching from a Modus 120, so an Axiom 105 is not going to be anywhere near a Modus 120.
No, and a 120 is a weird shaft anyway. Putters should be fit like everything else. Between good fits, I would choose for the most forgiving in. Yeah, I mean, you get what fits, and then which one the most forgiving, which one transfers more ball speed on the miss hits. You absolutely would choose that one. Eero's in the house. Hello, Eero. Captain Eero's here. Do the Saturn 95s look chunkier to you than the black versions? Yes, black version always, in my opinion, makes something look smaller. Can't we play with bag of 14 putters? I'd like to see putters with sand wedge loft. I've seen a couple of putters in the past with negative loft, but only because of the fact that we tried to hit them as drivers and seeing how far we can hit a putter, and they turn out actually they're quite soft. Carl said, Eero, no, you need at least one 7-wood. I putt the 7-wood. Then I'll allow it. You can tell when Eero and Carl get together. They're just chatting on. Jay likes chrome putter. I never actually, 10% distance loss off 1 inch off centre. I have seen somewhere that's significant. That sees the difference between a 2 and 3 putt. Yeah, especially from distance. It is something like that. I don't know if I've got any data from that. That's a long time ago. I don't know. I'm not talking zero torque. I'm talking general putter fitting and all the above. Yes, I have no opinion on zero torque putters. I definitely think you should be fit. Oh, absolutely. Everyone should be fit on every single thing. The problem is more so is getting fit properly. Carl said, at Neil's, I agree with getting fit for putters. I had an extensive fitting with Gwintech system. A lot was revealed, including that my putts didn't stop skidding and started rolling for 2.5 inches or feet.
And he must have meant feet.
Yeah, because 2.5 inch, that's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's really good. So I'm assuming that's 2.5 feet. Eventually found one where my ball is rolling before 2 feet, 2 inches. I mean, so Foresight will measure on a putter, on its launch monitor side of thing for the putter. It will measure the ball skid amount and how the backspin works, whether it's coming off the face at whatever launch angle with backspin or actually forward rotation. And so that's where the skid thing, the problem is with skid, is the golf ball is going round and then starts rolling like that. And that's where you see sometimes, especially on those dewy greens in the morning, you hit one fairly hard and the ball will skip and it will go on a launch angle. And because it's rotating backwards, it will go and then start rolling forward. You can actually sometimes, depending on how you have the lineup line, you can actually see it skip and rotate. But that's all down to your mechanics. You can fix that in your technical stroke. Found the analysis depending on strike location, 2 to 13%, loss depending construction, are very extensive, and I stop now. Or Niels, if you could send that through, that would be lovely to see. Right, guys, are we done? Are we done? Are we done? Are we done? I think we are. So apologies for the initial technical glitch. Needed a reboot of OBS. Everything is absolutely fine now. We've heard Andy in utter glory for the last couple of hours. So thank you very much for Andy for his time answering the questions. And thank you very much to everybody for popping in all the information into the chat. Thank you for everyone's questions and queries, and hope we have answered everyone. So when it comes to the housekeeping side of it, for the guys that haven't already been on there, up to the top there, and also on the chat at one point, there has been the link to Discord, and it is also in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that lot, which you guys are already as well. And for the people that are still sitting on the fence when it comes to the website, it is great if you could support the channel, myself and the channel, trying to get as many good golf clubs on the list. I know we're going to be doing the Titleist ones very, very soon. Again, we'll have to wait until they come in so I can buy them, but there you go. And of course, we have got the S1s coming in. And if I can, sneaky peeks on certain things. I don't know how I'm going to do it as yet, but I will see if I can give people sneaky peeks on what they are, because I have not seen them yet. They have been very, very on the quiet. Andy, have you seen anything of the S1 online? No. Mizuno have done very, very well at trying to keep these under wraps. 14th of July is the embargo date for everyone. I think it's a Monday, not quite sure, but I think it may well be a Monday or a Tuesday, not quite sure. But either way, we've got 2 weeks to go to the embargo. I haven't received my media samples as yet, but as soon as I do, I will be getting them in. And remember, guys, when it comes to the gold, not quite sure we can get away with this one. We might do. Might have a chat with Andy. So we have to make another column in the spreadsheet database for embargo ones, but we may not. We might just, so all the gold people get sneak peek on how the golf club works before its release. Now, I'm not quite sure. We may have to stop that because
it's only going to be a week at most, isn't it?
I might get in trouble. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. As always, people, is appreciated as ever. Thank you very much for your comments and your questions. Thank you very much to Andy. And we will see everybody again next week. Bye.
Ta-ta.